like everyone has a right to protest peacefully, even if I may disagree with what they're protesting for or against.
All right, some of the sights and sounds there overnight. Another 40 people ended up getting arrested following protests on several college campuses. Tensions continue to escalate with police clashing with demonstrators who are having their encampments dismantled at UPenn, at MIT, University of Arizona. All of this ahead, of course, of the busy graduation season. Washington, D.C., at least one person was taken into custody as police cleared out a large protest outside of the George Washington University president, Ellen Granberg's home. This just one day after the school had ordered the arrest of nearly 36 protesters. More than 2,800 people now have been arrested at college campuses nationwide in these protests since April 18th. All right, talking about GW, let's bring Kyle Welch in. Kyle's an associate accounting professor. George Washington's been on the show before, rejoins us now. So I guess you thought maybe this was over, but maybe not. How are things now?
Well, so I have to say, it's very rare that you'll hear a faculty ever say something positive about administration, but a lot of administrations have been dealt a very similar hand. George Washington University's administration has handled this flawlessly in a way where they didn't have support from the local police. They were able to eventually get support for local police. And let me just go through a couple of items that people might not understand. When they made arrests, about 4 in the morning is when they broke up the encampment, only 6 of 33 of the arrests they made were actual students at GW. Overwhelming majority, non-students on the campus doing the encampment. And the university made a move right before this that was very telling of this group. They unveiled a flag on the largest building right in front of the encampment, which was a brilliant move by the administration because it really revealed the colors of the people there. The people that were protesting met the flag with boo and hiss. This was not an Israeli flag. This was the flag that actually protects their right to speak and protest. And then the irony, we're George Washington University, we're in DC. They are literally 4 blocks away from the White House. And instead of protesting at the White House, for some reason, our university president is accountable for what's happening in Gaza. The whole thing's absurd. I think our administration...
Talk a little bit, you think your administration did a good job. It does speak a little bit to how all these protests are not created equally. I've mentioned a few times that the type of campus a college has seems to dictate a lot of what we're seeing. You're talking about outside agitators. And what I mean is, you know, in the Foggy Bottom neighborhood where you guys are in D.C., you're part of the neighborhood. The campus. It's not like it's not walled, you know, you can walk right on in between the buildings and that kind of thing. So I think that lends itself, right, to more of these outside protesters than maybe some other college campuses.
And yes, and there's something that a lot of people don't understand here is that this is not a restriction of speech. People can show up every day with a sign and speak and have ideas. You just can't camp and live on private property. And what people that are very critical of these moves don't quite get, and I don't think they've heard, these protests on our campus, GWU, were calling for the death of our university president and provost by name. They had a mock tribunal and were saying off to the gallows and we should cut off her head. And that and what people that are supportive of this without much understanding don't realize there is a fine line between a protest and a mob.
Now, weren't some of your colleagues supportive of it? We had one professor on who was supportive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Some are supportive, and they have a very shallow understanding of mobs and protests and how a protest can turn into a mob. You can say whatever you want as far as ideas and debating ideas back and forth in war. Calling for the death of an individual by name, oh, man, that is really rough, especially somebody that's a university president.
Right.
Give me a break.
No matter what. Now, let me ask you one question before I let you go about graduation. I'll put up the headline about USC. Maybe you saw what they did out there where they had this graduation event. They threw it together. No mention of the protests of the war. It was very hastily arranged, apparently, at USC. What about GW? It's coming up. What about graduation?
They're still going to have graduation. I imagine there'll be agitators and people that try to make noise. What they don't realize is that this doesn't bring people, this doesn't convince minds and hearts to your cause. It just irritates people. And the brilliant move by our school of putting up the flag, it just was a perfect example of this. People looked at that and saw the response from the crowd protesting and realized, oh, these people aren't with us. They're not part of this American ideal. They're part of something else.
All right, Kyle, good to have you on again from George Washington, professor there, Kyle Welch. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.